Solara had never felt so far from home. The stars outside the shuttle window stretched endlessly, cold and indifferent yet beautiful. She was from Nerev, a planet known for its wisdom and artistry, a place where intelligence and grace were the highest virtues. Yet here she was, traveling to a small blue planet called Earth, unsure of what awaited her. Her mission was diplomatic. She was to study human culture, learn their ways, and build a bridge of understanding between species. But already Solara felt the weight of misunderstanding pressing on her. Her people had customs that humans would likely misinterpret, gestures of respect that on Nerev conveyed trust and equality, but on Earth could be twisted into something else entirely. The shuttle touched down smoothly in the middle of a bustling city. Solara stepped onto the landing platform, feeling the strange pull of gravity, the scent of unknown flora and urban life. Humans surrounded her, curious and loud. Cameras flashed, and whispers followed her everywhere she went. "Look at her. She's a love slave," one bystander muttered, loud enough for others to hear. Solara froze. The words were alien, both in meaning and in intent. She had heard about human tendencies to label what they did not understand, but hearing it firsthand stung in a way she had not expected. Her mind raced, recalling the lessons from her elders. Do not react impulsively. Observe. Learn. Yet the whispers continued, growing louder. People speculated about her, made assumptions based on her appearance, her elegance, and the calm way she carried herself. Solara's tall, graceful frame, shimmering silvery hair, and luminescent eyes made her stand out. On Nerev, such features signified wisdom, not subservience. But humans seemed blind to that nuance. She tried to ignore them, moving toward the official reception area. That was when she first saw him, Captain Alex Rayner. He was not like the others. While everyone else stared and whispered, Alex's eyes were calm, assessing, and most importantly, respectful. There was no condescension in his gaze, no hint of exploitation, only curiosity and the quiet strength of someone used to navigating chaos. "Solara," he said, his voice steady. "Welcome to Earth. I am Captain Alex Rayner. I will assist you during your stay." The way he said it, the assurance in his tone, put Solara slightly at ease. She inclined her head politely, following him through the crowd, yet she could not shake the words she had overheard. Love slave. The label felt wrong in every way. On Nerev, she was trained to negotiate, to lead, to inspire. But here, humans had reduced her to something meaningless, something offensive. They walked. Alex addressed her with simple, clear language, careful not to overwhelm her. "I know people have been unkind. Some misunderstandings happen. But I assure you, you are our guest. You are respected here." Solara studied him. His honesty was plain, unpretentious. It contrasted sharply with the whispers and the flashing cameras. For the first time since stepping onto Earth, she felt a spark of hope. Perhaps not all humans were the same. Perhaps some could understand, could see beyond surface appearances. Their path led them to a secure building, Earth's Diplomatic Relations Center, where Solara would reside for the duration of her visit. The building was modern but functional, with clean lines and transparent walls that let in light. She could see the city from her room, a labyrinth of roads, buildings, and tiny moving figures. Humans were smaller than her in stature, less physically imposing, yet there was a vibrancy to their lives that intrigued her. After settling in, Solara reflected on her mission. She had come to study, to teach, and perhaps to correct misconceptions. But the first challenge had already arisen. Humans could be quick to judge, slow to understand. Her cultural norms, gestures of trust, polite touches on the arm, or moments of closeness intended to convey equality, could easily be twisted into something insulting. She knew she would have to tread carefully. Later that evening, she was introduced to a small group of human officials. The introductions were polite, but she noticed a certain awkwardness in their eyes. They did not know how to treat her. Some bowed slightly, unsure if that was proper. Others offered gifts hoping to curry favor. Solara listened, asking questions about Earth's history, technology, and culture. Her tone was neutral, professional, but there was an underlying warmth. Alex remained by her side, watching her interact. He admired her composure, her ability to navigate a room full of strangers without losing dignity. Yet he also noted the subtle discomfort in her expressions whenever someone's gaze lingered too long, or when a comment hinted at the misunderstanding she had faced outside. He resolved silently to protect her from misjudgments, to ensure her mission could proceed without unnecessary interference. Solara, despite the mislabeling, was determined. She would not let a misunderstanding define her. She had a purpose, and she would fulfill it. Humans were different from her own people, but perhaps that difference could be an advantage. She observed, listened, and began to see patterns in their behavior: curiosity, caution, and sometimes prejudice. It was all part of the puzzle she had to solve. As night fell over the city, Solara looked out her window at the distant lights. Somewhere among them were humans who saw her not as a love slave, but as a person, intelligent, capable, and equal. Captain Alex Rayner was the first of those humans. She did not know what the future held, but she knew one thing: she would not let a false label control her destiny. And for the first time on Earth, she felt the stirrings of something rare for her species: hope. The morning sun spilled into Solara's room, painting the walls with gold and silver light. She had spent the night thinking, studying the patterns of human life she could see from her window, and planning her first official interactions. Yet despite her preparation, a sense of caution remained. Humans were unpredictable. Some were curious, some fearful, and some cruel in their assumptions. Captain Alex Rayner arrived promptly, as always. His calm presence had become a small anchor in the storm of misunderstandings surrounding her. "Good morning, Solara," he said. "Today we begin your cultural exchange sessions. I'll introduce you to some scientists and historians. They are eager to learn from you." Solara inclined her head. She appreciated Alex's careful choice of words. He treated her not as a curiosity, but as a partner in dialogue. That simple respect made a difference she could feel deep within her chest. As they walked through the center's glass corridors, Solara noticed the subtle stares and murmurs. Some humans still whispered about her, repeating the misguided label she despised. But Alex kept her shielded from the worst of it, stepping between her and those whose intentions were less than kind. Solara felt gratitude, but also unease. She did not want to rely solely on his protection. She needed to learn how to navigate this world on her own. Their first meeting was with a group of human historians. They asked questions about her planet, her society, and her experiences. Solara answered patiently, her voice calm but firm. She spoke of Nerev's values, intelligence, art, and mutual respect, and tried to explain the customs humans had misinterpreted. She noticed some of the historians nodding, showing genuine interest, while others fidgeted, uncomfortable with the ideas that challenged their assumptions. "On Nerev," Solara explained, "we express respect and trust in ways that may seem intimate, but they are meant to convey equality and connection. Misunderstanding these gestures can lead to wrong conclusions." Alex watched carefully. He could see the mixture of confusion and curiosity in the humans' faces. He spoke up, gently guiding the conversation. "Solara is sharing knowledge that can help us understand other cultures. It is important to listen, not judge." By midday, Solara had begun to feel a subtle shift. Humans were listening, learning, and beginning to respect her perspective. She realized that some humans could rise above their initial assumptions. Alex's presence was key, but so was her own patience and willingness to teach. After the sessions, Alex led Solara to a quiet observation deck. They looked out over the city, the streets busy with life. "How are you holding up?" he asked. Solara hesitated. "It is difficult. Humans can be quick to judge. They label what they do not understand. But I am learning that some, like you, see differently." Alex smiled faintly. I am just one human. But even one person who respects you can make a difference. You're showing them a way to understand something new. The words warmed her. For the first time, Solara felt that her mission might succeed, but she also knew that trust could not be given blindly. She had to test humans to see whether respect would hold when pressures increased. Later that evening, Alex arranged for Solara to meet a few other humans outside the official sessions, a casual gathering meant to encourage informal dialogue. Solara felt tense. She was still wary of being misjudged, still conscious of the whispers that sometimes lingered even when no one was directly speaking. Yet as she entered the room, she noticed a subtle difference. These humans approached her, not with curiosity alone, but with openness. They asked questions, listened carefully, and responded respectfully. Solara found herself relaxing, letting small smiles escape when she realized they were genuinely interested in learning. One young scientist, Mara, asked, "Your customs seem so different from ours. How do you feel when humans misunderstand you?" Solara paused, choosing her words carefully. At first it is painful, to be seen only as or a label, rather. Solara had begun to feel a small sense of ease on Earth. She had found moments of calm in conversations with humans who genuinely wanted to understand her, and Captain Alex Rayner's steady presence made the alien planet feel slightly less alien. But peace, she knew, was often temporary. It came suddenly without warning. During a routine observation session in the city's science district, Solara noticed strange movements in the crowd. Shadows shifted too quickly, figures moved with unnatural precision, and a subtle, almost imperceptible energy signature pulsed nearby. Her training on Nerev had prepared her to detect danger in ways humans often missed. Instantly, she recognized it. Someone, or something, was watching her closely. "Captain," she whispered, tugging on Alex's sleeve. "We are not alone. I sense hostility." Alex's eyes narrowed. "Stay calm. Tell me what you feel." Solara explained what she sensed, every detail precise. The direction, the intensity, the rhythm of movement. Alex listened, scanning the crowd himself. Humans around them seemed oblivious, absorbed in their routines. But Alex trusted Solara's instincts. He had seen her perception in action before, and it had never been wrong. Before they could react, further, the attackers struck. A group of humanoid figures moving faster than any normal human surrounded them. Solara could detect advanced technology in their movements, devices that enhanced speed, strength, and coordination. They were clearly trained to capture, not to negotiate. "Step back," Alex shouted, positioning himself in front of Solara. He was outnumbered, but he was not afraid. His focus was absolute. "Stay behind me." Solara's heart raced, but she did not freeze. She analyzed the situation, noting every escape route, every possible weak point. On Nerev, she had faced dangers in her diplomatic missions, though nothing like this. Still, her mind was sharp, calculating. She was not a passive observer. She would act when the moment was right. The attackers advanced, and Alex sprang into action. He dodged the first strike, countering with precision, his movements calculated despite the chaos. Solara used the distraction to her advantage. She extended her hands, activating a small defensive device gifted by her people, a low-energy field that disrupted the attackers' coordination. The humanoids faltered, and Alex pressed forward, taking advantage of the opening. He moved with relentless courage, shielding Solara from direct harm, his every action reflecting his unwavering loyalty. Solara's respect for him deepened. Humans, she had once thought, might be reckless or easily swayed by fear. But Alex embodied something rare: resourcefulness, courage, and moral integrity. He did not hesitate to place himself in danger to protect another life, a trait she valued highly on Nerev. Together they retreated into a nearby alley, the attackers regrouping outside. Solara used her knowledge of energy manipulation to create a temporary barrier, buying them time. "Are you unharmed?" Alex asked, breathing heavily, his focus still sharp. "I am fine," Solara replied. "But they will not stop easily. This is a coordinated attempt to capture me. Their intent is not dialogue." Alex's jaw tightened. Then we adapt. We survive. They moved quickly through the city's back streets, avoiding main roads and surveillance. Solara guided Alex using her advanced senses, predicting the attackers' paths and intercepting movements before they became threats. The partnership was seamless. Solara provided strategy. Alex provided courage and action. As they paused in a quiet rooftop garden to catch their breath, Solara finally spoke, her voice calm, but carrying weight. I have never met a human willing to act with such integrity. You do not see me as an object or a curiosity. You treat me as an equal. Alex glanced at her, his expression serious. You are an equal. That is how it should always be. Nothing less. The words struck her in a way she had not expected. For the first time since arriving on Earth, she felt completely understood. Labels, whispers, and misunderstandings faded into the background. Here, in this dangerous moment, trust had been forged in action, not just conversation. But danger was not over. The attackers had regrouped and were tracking them with advanced sensors. Solara quickly devised a plan. Using the city's infrastructure and her own technology, they created a diversion. Holographic duplicates of themselves projected along multiple routes, confusing their pursuers. Alex moved silently beside her, ready to intervene whenever necessary. Hours passed as they navigated the labyrinth of the city. Every corner, every shadow, held potential threat. Yet through it all, Alex remained steady. He never panicked, never faltered, never treated Solara as fragile or helpless. She realized that humans could be stronger in ways Nerev often overlooked. Strength was not just physical. It was courage, loyalty, and the willingness to act for others. Finally, they reached a secure safe house arranged by human authorities who had been alerted by Alex earlier. They collapsed inside, exhausted but alive. The attackers had not been defeated, but they had been delayed. Solara allowed herself a moment to breathe, to process the events. You saved my life today, she said quietly, meeting Alex's eyes. Not just by your actions, but by your respect, your understanding. I am grateful. Alex shook his head. I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because it was right, because you deserve to be treated with dignity. Solara studied him, realizing that the human she had once seen as merely a protector had become something more. He embodied the potential of humanity. Courage, compassion, and intelligence combined in a way that could defy prejudice, misunderstanding, and fear. As night fell, Solara looked out through the safe house window, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. She knew the danger was not gone, but she also knew she was not alone. Humans, she thought, could rise to meet challenges in ways even her own people might envy. And for the first time on Earth, Solara felt something rare and powerful. Hope born, not from labels or expectations, but from actions, loyalty, and the recognition that she was seen for who she truly was. Tonight, she realized, she was not a love slave. She was an individual, a diplomat, a thinker, and a warrior when needed. And by her side was a human who treated her not as a curiosity, not as a possession, but as a queen in her own right. The following days brought a different kind of challenge for Solara. The danger from the previous attack lingered in her mind, but now she faced something subtler, the challenge of bridging two worlds that barely understood each other. Her mission had always been about diplomacy, but she realized that true understanding required more than just knowledge. It required trust, patience, and the willingness to share oneself openly. Captain Alex Rayner stayed close, though never overbearing. He allowed Solara space to interact with humans while offering guidance when needed. Together, they organized sessions at the Earth Diplomatic Center, inviting scientists, engineers, and cultural experts to engage in dialogue. Solara began with small demonstrations of her planet's customs. She moved gracefully, her gestures precise and deliberate. On Nerev, a touch on the forearm could signify agreement, trust, or alliance. She explained each movement patiently, showing how it reflected equality rather than submission. Humans watched intently, some imitating her motions with laughter, but Solara welcomed the effort, correcting gently when needed. One day, a group of engineers asked her about Nerev's energy systems. On her planet, energy was harvested with minimal environmental impact, using technologies unfamiliar to humans. Solara demonstrated using a small portable device, which projected holographic patterns of energy flow. The humans leaned forward, captivated. Alex stood nearby, proud of how she held the room. "These patterns," one engineer said, "they're beautiful and efficient. We could learn so much from this." Solara inclined her head. "Efficiency is important, but understanding is more important. You must see the reasoning, the intention behind our designs. That is where true collaboration begins." Alex noticed the subtle shift in the room. Humans were no longer observing her as an exotic curiosity. They were listening, asking questions, trying to understand the logic behind her culture. Solara, in turn, began appreciating the humans' creativity and adaptability. Their methods were different, but not inferior. Often they were complementary to her own knowledge. Outside these formal sessions, Alex encouraged Solara to explore Earth on her own terms. She visited parks, markets, and libraries, sometimes accompanied by Alex, sometimes alone. Each outing was a learning experience, not only for her, but also for the humans she met. Children were especially curious, asking endless questions, their innocence allowing them to see her without prejudice. Solara found joy in answering them, laughing softly when their imaginations ran wild. Despite these successes, challenges remained. Some humans still whispered behind her back, clinging to outdated labels. The term love slave had not vanished completely, but Solara learned to meet such moments with calm dignity. When confronted, she explained her perspective clearly, refusing to be diminished by misunderstanding. Alex's presence reinforced her confidence, but she knew her strength lay in her ability to articulate her own truth. One evening, as the sun set over the city, Solara and Alex shared a quiet moment on the observation deck of the diplomatic center. The sky was painted with streaks of orange and purple, a mirror of the luminescent skies of Nerev. "Alex," Solara said softly, I'm beginning to understand humans better. I see creativity, Res." Solara had grown more confident on Earth. She had learned to navigate human society, to teach and share, and to see the strengths of those around her. Yet she knew that danger never truly disappeared. Some forces, whether human or alien, never accepted understanding or cooperation. They sought control, fear, and domination. It began subtly. Reports of unusual activity reached Alex, unidentified ships near the city, strange signals in the communication network, and rumors of a faction of Solara's own people pressing for her return to Nerev. They claimed she had been compromised by humans and must be brought home immediately. Solara studied the news carefully. Her instincts warned her that this was no ordinary diplomatic request. Something darker lay beneath. "Captain," she said quietly, "I fear this faction does not intend to negotiate. They aim to coerce and take me by force." Alex nodded. "Then we prepare. We cannot let them manipulate you. We act first, carefully." The first confrontation came at the diplomatic center. A group of alien emissaries appeared suddenly, demanding immediate cooperation. Their tone was sharp, commanding, and filled with expectation of obedience. Humans and alien observers alike froze, unsure how to respond. Solara stepped forward, her posture calm but firm. "I am here as an ambassador, not a captive," she declared. "I choose to remain and cooperate with those who respect me and my autonomy. I will not be coerced." The emissaries' faces betrayed surprise. They had expected submission, the kind that many humans falsely assumed her species would display. Solara's confidence and clarity disarmed them, forcing them to reconsider their assumptions. Alex remained close, a protective presence but never overbearing. He spoke with measured authority, addressing the emissaries. "She is under Earth's protection. Any attempt to force her will be met with resistance. You will leave peacefully or face consequences." The aliens paused. Their technology was superior in many ways, but they underestimated human ingenuity. Alex's calm and strategic thinking, combined with Solara's knowledge of their tactics, created a barrier they had not anticipated. Solara and Alex retreated to a secure room, where they could plan. "They are persistent," Solara said, her tone steady. "But humans have unexpected strength. I see it in you." Alex smiled faintly. "Strength comes in many forms. Sometimes it is courage. Sometimes it is patience. Sometimes it is knowing how to act when others underestimate you." Together, they devised a plan. Solara would use her understanding of the alien faction's technology to create a temporary communication blockade, disrupting their coordination. Alex would prepare a human defense protocol, using drones, surveillance, and tactical positioning to protect her. The synergy between human ingenuity and alien intelligence became apparent. They complemented each other perfectly. The next day, the confrontation escalated. The alien faction attempted a direct approach, using advanced technology to bypass security. Solara activated her countermeasures, projecting holographic decoys and scrambling signals. Humans coordinated under Alex's leadership, moving efficiently to block any intrusion. The alien faction's attempts failed repeatedly. They were skilled, yes, but Solara and Alex's collaboration proved superior. Every step, every maneuver, reflected careful calculation, trust, and courage. The emissaries realized that coercion was useless. Solara would not yield, and the humans had adapted to protect her intelligently and decisively. During a brief lull, Solara turned to Alex. "I see now," she said softly, "that humans can rise to meet challenges in ways even my own people might not expect. You respect me, yet you act decisively when necessary. That is remarkable." Alex met her gaze. "Humans are capable of great things when we value life, integrity, and freedom. That includes respecting others no matter how different they are." The alien faction finally withdrew, acknowledging that further attempts would be futile. Solara and Alex had not only defended her freedom, but also demonstrated the potential of human-alien cooperation. It was a victory not just in strategy, but in principle. In the aftermath, Solara reflected on the experience. The alien faction had expected submission. Instead, they encountered autonomy, intellect, and human ingenuity. The lesson was clear. True strength did not come from domination, but from collaboration, respect, and courage in the face of adversity. Solara began to see Alex and the humans not just as protectors, but as equals capable of extraordinary moral and intellectual power. She realized that the labels placed upon her by others, love slave, were meaningless when measured against her own autonomy and the respect she had earned. The diplomatic community, both human and alien, took notice. Solara's actions, combined with Alex's leadership, became a model for interstellar diplomacy. Humans were no longer perceived as weak, naive, or easily manipulated. They were clever, resourceful, and morally courageous. Solara took time to address a group of young diplomats. "Respect, understanding, and courage are the foundations of true partnership," she said. "Labels and assumptions can mislead, but action and integrity reveal character. Humans have shown that they can rise to challenges with wisdom and bravery. That is why I choose to continue my mission here." Alex watched silently, proud. He had always believed in human potential, but witnessing Solara's acknowledgement made him see the impact of their combined efforts. Humanity was capable of extraordinary things when guided by respect, intelligence, and moral courage. That evening, Solara and Alex walked through the quiet city streets. The lights reflected on the glass buildings, creating patterns that reminded Solara of her home planet. She smiled faintly. "I am beginning to understand something important," she said. "Humans can achieve greatness not because of power alone, but because of empathy, ingenuity, and loyalty. And you, Alex, have shown me the best of them." Alex's expression softened. "It's not just me. It's people willing to act with integrity and courage. That is what makes humans Human. Solara nodded. She felt a deep sense of gratitude, not for protection, not for assistance, but for being seen, respected, and treated as an equal. Labels no longer held power over her. Actions had revealed truth, and truth was far stronger than any misunderstanding. As night settled over the city, Solara reflected on the confrontation. Danger had tested them, but it had also revealed the strength of human character. She realized that interstellar collaboration could succeed when courage, respect, and intelligence guided both species. And beside her, always, stood Alex, human, loyal, brave, and unwavering. A partner who had helped her rewrite the story of what it meant to be seen, respected, and empowered. The city was quiet in the early morning, a soft mist curling around the buildings and streets. Solara stood on the observation deck of the diplomatic center, looking out over the glowing lights. She had come far since her first arrival, when whispers and misunderstanding had labeled her as something she was not. Now, after weeks of collaboration, dialogue, and courage, she felt a deep sense of purpose. Beside her, Captain Alex Rayner watched the sunrise. The city stretched before them like a living network of stories, challenges, and possibilities. He had been her guide, her protector, and her friend, but more importantly, he had allowed her to be seen for who she truly was: intelligent, capable, and independent. Solara turned to him, her expression thoughtful. "Alex, I have learned much from humans. You are clever, resourceful, and courageous. But more than that, you can respect another being as an equal, even when others cannot. That is a rare quality." Alex smiled faintly. "It's not rare, it's human potential. Sometimes it takes the right circumstances for it to show. You just happen to be the right person to see it." She nodded, feeling warmth spread through her chest. Humans had surprised her, and not in small ways. They had shown her that courage was not just in battle but in action guided by integrity. They had proven that respect could bridge worlds. And she had witnessed it firsthand, not through words or assumptions, but through deeds. The diplomatic center buzzed with preparations for a larger event, a celebration of collaboration between Earth and Nerev. Delegates from multiple human cities and alien representatives had gathered to witness the progress Solara had helped inspire. Her presence symbolized more than diplomacy. It symbolized hope, partnership, and the potential for understanding across species. As she walked through the hall, Solara noticed young humans approaching her with curiosity and respect. They asked questions, not about labels or rumors, but about her work, her knowledge, and her culture. She answered them patiently, enjoying the genuine interest in their eyes. For the first time, she realized the whispers and misunderstanding that had greeted her arrival no longer mattered. She had carved a path of respect that even skeptics could not ignore. Alex joined her as they reached the stage for the opening ceremony. Delegates applauded not just for her, but for the success of collaboration itself. Solara felt a sense of fulfillment she had never experienced on Nerev. Her work had changed perception, reshaped assumptions, and demonstrated the best qualities of humanity. During the ceremony, she addressed the assembly. Her voice was clear, confident, and calm. Respect, understanding, and courage are not limited to any single species. They are principles that can guide us all. On Nerev, I learned the importance of wisdom and dignity. On Earth, I have seen that courage, empathy, and ingenuity can achieve what no single